resolution. So our first honoree today, China Aid, and the group's founder and president, and I must say a fellow Texan. Midlander, right? Yeah. Bob Fu represents that legacy. He refused to surrender the dream of a free China, where all religions can worship peacefully. Bob is a noble example to others. China Aid has worked to expose the human rights abuses in China and is one of the loudest voices calling for the end of China's arbitrary and brutal rule. Their mission is to expose, encourage, and equip, and that is to expose the brutality of the People's Republic of China and the Chinese Communist Party, encourage others to stand up for the rule of law and the freedoms they deserve, and equip citizens across China with the tools and skills they need to make a difference. While striving to defend freedoms for those still in China, Bob has come back to my home state of Texas, and we welcome you. And let me just say this, we had a great visit in my office about the crackdown on the Uyghur population, the Muslims, the crackdown on the Christians in China, and then the crackdown on the Tibetans in China, all three different religions not able to express their religious freedoms in China. And it's been going on for more than 6 years, and that time has now come. That time must end. And we need to stand up for the Dalai Lama and the Tibetan people. We need to stand up for the Christian people in China. We need to stand up for the Uyghur population, the Muslims, who are literally sitting, as the DoD told me, in concentration camps today in China, about 3 million of them. This cannot stand any longer. But that, on a more positive note, I want to offer my congratulations to Bob Fu and offer this award to him.
Thank you, Congressman McCall, for your unwavering support for freedom. Thank you, Dr. Carl Gresham and NED for recognizing ours. We are so humbled and privileged to stand here. I want to also thank my fellow board members. Many of them travel from the People's Republic of Texas, and I became a naturalized citizen over there. But I really want to thank our fellow freedom fighters from other faith communities, from our Tibetan friends, from the Uyghur friends, from Falun Gong friends. When the Chinese Communist Party attacked one group, when we cannot practice faith from one group of faith, none of our faith is free. So when they attack us, no matter it's Christians, no matter it's Catholics, no matter it's Uyghur Muslims, no matter it's the Tibetan Buddhist, none of ours is free. And I really, I'm very thankful that today we can join hands together with one voice and tell the Chinese communist regime, enough is enough.
Yeah.
I think in the past few days, we already have heard enough words about the atrocities, the inhuman treatment of all the faith communities, the 1 to 3 million Uyghur in the concentration camps, the over 150 the Tibetans self-immolated themselves. The thousands of Falun Gong practitioners were killed. And over 100,000 Chinese Christians in the year 2018 were detained, imprisoned, and many of them are still in prison today, waiting, or some are waiting for their trial. I think it's time for action, since we are now sitting in the Hall of Congress. I think instead of naming more names about those who are persecuted, I just want to make one proposal to especially to members of Congress that I think we can make a difference. And my proposal actually will be pleased by both the fiscal conservatives and the progressives, because it does not need to increase any existing funding. It's just need a little bit relocation of the existing appropriation bills. And guess what? The Chinese Communist Party, one of the things they fear most is the freedom of information. In 2016, a young man called Zhang Haitao in Xinjiang was sentenced to 19 years imprisonment. For what? He was just a cell phone salesman. He was accused of leaking state secret. When the prosecutor presented evidence, the only piece of evidence was he was accused of forwarding 274 Twitter messages through the Chinese social media. 274 messages through social media. 19 years imprisonment. And almost 10 years ago, another guy from Xinjiang called Alimujang Yimiti, he's a Uyghur and became a Christian pastor. He received 15 years imprisonment. The charge, he was accused leaking state secret. The only piece of state secret for a Uyghur farmer in Xinjiang, or East Turkestan, was he told one of American Christian friends in Xinjiang that he was under investigation. That's the only piece of evidence. 15 years. Because the Communist Party is built by lies after lies. They don't want the world to know the truth about their atrocity. They don't want the 1.3 billion people to know that their fellow citizens had been persecuted. So my proposal is really to ask our member of Congress to help on the appropriation bill to the funding the U.S. Agency for Global Media, formerly known as the BBG, just to change a little bit from that already existing appropriation. And do you know currently how much percentage out of that $770 million annual budget that designated for internet circumvention tools to break the 21st century internet Berlin Wall? Less than 1%. Less than 1%. So my plea and request to our member of Congress is to help, at least, help the BBG, or the agency, and the State Department to raise at least 10%, so that one day the 200,000 Iranians can have their town hall meetings without worrying about being caught, by having the internet circumvention tools that are already available and really existing. So that one day a pastor like me or any other house church pastors can conduct a house church service from Midland, Texas, or Houston, or Washington, D.C., with the 500,000 Chinese house church members worship online together. I think the world will be safer and better and much freer when we tear down that internet firewall of the People's Republic of Indonesia. Thank you.
Joining us for the first time this evening is a member of Congress who has a passion for what we do. And Tom Swazi is from Long Island, New York. I went to Kings Point, so I know your district well. I have great friends in Glen Cove. And he's a bipartisan leader on human rights, and he's been working very hard on